So this is the Peter McKinnon Nomadic backpack. I carry this every single day of my life. It's directed towards camera people, but here's what I will say.
Okay.
If you're not a camera person, this is the best backpack I've ever.
Episode 20, man.
Yeah,
Hey, welcome to episode 20 officially. We're excited to be here.
we are excited. I feel like we are in the groove. We are the groove. And
Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Come on, man. It's bobsled time.
I feel like so this time of the year for both of us is a good time to, number one, reflect. Number two, look ahead.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm very excited to look ahead at like what this podcast can be and what we want it to be. Number one, like the fact that we've gotten to 20 episodes, regardless of how many eyes or ears are tuned in on a weekly basis, that's super exciting to me.
Yeah.
And now I think we've got a little snowball and we're just going to push it down the hill and let it grow.
One of the things I love too is it's just giving us a consistent time to meet and talk every week because our schedules don't often align.
Nope.
Like there are weeks where I see you once,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
And we have the studio space together. And I feel like I was telling Whit the other night, I was like, I feel like I haven't seen Austin at all recently. And it's because we were both here pretty consistently, but our days never lined up.
Right.
And so I love the fact that it's given us like this consistent touch point every week. Check in and say, hey, how you doing? Yeah. All right. So I have a fun segment I would like to bring up for segment number one today.
Okay.
Our favorite creator recently. And so it could be, I'll say this, the restraints around this answer doesn't have to be just recently, but it is someone you need to have been watching recently. So it could have been someone you liked for a long time, short time, but someone you've been watching a lot of.
Yep. Mine's no doubt, didn't even have to think about it. Joe Greer, not in any form related to me, I don't believe. Joe he's a fantastic photographer that I've recently come across, which is kind of crazy because he's got like 600, 700,000 followers on Instagram. And last year around this time, my buddy Seth and I, we went and watched his documentary. That basically was a documentary on his life. And I was like, me and this guy got a lot of parallels because I didn't know.
Oh, that's so true, dude.
I didn't know
So
him
true.
going into the documentary. I just knew the people who made the documentary. And since watching that documentary, I kind of just fell into a rabbit hole of all of his content and kind of did a deep dive. And recently he has started a YouTube channel primarily
He did?
directed
I'm
towards
going to write that down.
yeah,
I did not realize
primarily directed towards running. And so I love the style of those videos already. He has a very, I wouldn't say cinematic. Some of it's cinematic, but it's really just kind of like vintage slash, I guess vintage slash cinematic slash like raw and authentic is his.
So it's got a vibe.
Yeah,
got a vibe.
it has definitely got a vibe. I mean, if you know like Joe, like everything about him is kind of the vintage vibe.
Yeah.
So I've really enjoyed watching his content here recently, and then also just following him on Instagram it's like a daily like portfolio of his life. Like he posts so much on his stories, and I love that.
I really have loved for the last few years following Tim Quizno or Quizno. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. And he, when I found him, was making TikToks, just day in the life. He's taking footage of him in like his corporate high-rise office, and he was basically bringing this theme of bringing the heart back into being a people leader. In fact, for like the first couple of weeks, I thought he was saying people eater. And I was like, what is that? And I realized it's saying people leader. And it was so cool because he was just talking through, what's up, Jack? It's okay, man. It's all right. This is the real life podcast episode.
Come on in.
But he was talking through the idea of just bringing the heart back into working in an office and treating people like people, you know? And I think that's cool. And so, yeah, he makes TikToks and he puts out one pretty much every day. But it's just one of those ones that, like, when you watch it, you're like, Man, the world's going to be all right. The world's going to be all right.
I've got another one.
Go for it.
A local guy back home. He is, I've mentioned him before. He's an eye doctor. Still don't know the name. You told me before, but an eye doctor?
Oh, an optometrist.
100%
Wait,
yes.
and I said I was going to look this guy up, and I didn't.
That's okay. Look him up this time.
Yeah.
So, man, I went to high school with him, and he's just posting day in the lives every single day. And I want to say this in the nicest way possible. He's a very regular guy, and he just embraces it.
Let's talk about that for a second.
And that's his like.
Wait, what's his handle? Or what's his name?
Tanner Lay.
Tanner, is it
Doctor.
Leigh?
Leigh, Tanner. Yeah.
Okay. So there's this creator that my wife sent me over the weekend, and I had just seen some of his Instagram reels recently, and he has the same format every time. He pulls back into his driveway. He's or in his garage. He's driving a Tesla.
Not Life of Hubs.
No, okay, no, he's great too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's
Hub's Life.
Yeah, Hub's Life. But he grabs his Blackstone stuff. Thanks, Jack. He grabs his Blackstone stuff. He goes out, he grills on the Blackstone, and that's it. He does a different recipe every night.
Yeah.
And there's something about
I know who you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing though. I think people who post boring everyday stuff are my favorite people.
You know what you're getting.
Not only that, but can I say this about the Godfather
Yeah.
of vlogging? I love, in many ways, owe much of my life now to Casey Neistat sharing his daily vlogs back in 15, 16?
Yep.
But there was a certain point where it was a little unrelatable because I live in small rural town, Kentucky. He lives in Manhattan.
Yeah.
These people, though, are posting straight up everyday
Yeah.
boring life. And I'm like, I'm hanging on every word or frame of their video.
We live in a really cool time because it's almost like your favorite show. For example, we've recently started a show. You get your characters that you just gravitate towards.
Bro, don't you be saying a show without saying the name. What show is it?
Landman,
Okay, I don't know what that is. Go on.
Texas oil rigs, and basically the life of the oil rigs.
Interesting.
But you get your favorite character, and you feel like, man, you're a part of their story. Like once you start this show, you feel like. Shout out Yellowstone too, man. Last episode, I believe, ever is airing this Sunday. I'm heartbroken, but I'm invested in the story, and I love finding a creator where they post daily, and you just feel like you're tagging along, right? Like they don't know who you are. They don't know you're watching.
Which, for our nerds out there, that phenomenon is called a parasocial relationship. You feel like you know them. They ain't got a clue who you are, bro.
But I love it.
I do too.
And you just get to take this ride with them every single day of what their life is and what they agree to showcase, basically, on a daily basis. And it's fun. It really is. If you're creating right now, do not let the power of fear win, because someone's already a part of your story and you don't even know.
I have something vulnerable to share.
Do it.
I filmed my first YouTube video this morning.
Yeah.
Like this era of my YouTube. I've made YouTube videos before. You weren't here yet. And I was brainstorming, and I feel like this is the one area I've been trying to step back into. So I made a YouTube video like how I would want to make a YouTube video.
Yeah.
And I edited it, and I watched it back, and I was like, it is simple, and I like it.
When's it going live?
You know what?
Put it
I'm going
out.
to put it up tonight.
You promise?
I promise.
All right.
Hereby swear.
I'm ready to watch it.
But it's quite literally, and I'll tell you what it is. It's me leading myself through the exercise I lead clients through of figuring out, okay, I want to talk on social media about something I'm passionate about, but I don't know what to talk about, and I don't exactly know the venue to talk about it. So I literally lead myself through the exercise, and I'm drawing it out on my iPad. And so when you're watching me at this desk, I'm sitting where you're sitting, talk about it, you're seeing my iPad drawing superimposed on the screen. And it just felt so natural to me. And so anyways, I'm very excited about it.
I'm very excited to watch it. I actually want to throw this out. This is something I came across the other day.
By the way, while you're doing that, ladies and gentlemen, Jack is one of our landlords who just walked across the background of the screen a few minutes ago. Dude,
those are landlords.
they are
Yeah.
they are the lords of this land.
Yeah.
And they're awesome.
This studio is great. You know what's even greater?
Our landlords.
Our landlords.
You know why? 'Cause let's tell the story.
Yeah.
So we didn't have any hot water. So we asked Alex, the father of the landlords, and he was like, "You should. That's a problem if you don't."
Yeah.
And literally
Up here immediately.
It's not even been 24 hours since
Yeah.
the initial email volley. And he's like, they will be there tomorrow. The plumbing company will be there tomorrow. Those guys were here 4 hours
Yeah.
early, tearing stuff out, putting stuff in. Just like,
I also want to say this. This
geez
is
Louise,
funny.
I love it.
If you weren't in this studio, I would have used cold water all winter and not said a thing. Like, my mind doesn't even think to say, like, oh, yeah, well, I should probably email just the landlord and see if we, like, get this resolved. Like, I would have just been like, oh, yeah, this place don't have hot water. It's just never, like. So that's fun. I came across this recently, too.
Our landlords are awesome, by
And
the way, if we're
Just
being
like
clear.
throwing out your YouTube video, there is, and I've learned this year. One of my big goals was this year. This year was to do some YouTube videos.
Which I have watched, and bro, they're so good.
Thank you. I love making YouTube videos.
Yeah.
I don't want to make YouTube videos so a ton of people follow along. Like, if they want to, that is fantastic. But more than anything, like, that is one of my passions in life. Like, I love making videos. Now, the scary part of that is, like, I sometimes struggle with consistency to make videos that pertain to myself. I've always struggled. I think most people struggle. I came across this recently. This is a psychological, basically, disorder or phenomenon.
Bro, educate me. I'm here. I'm curious.
This is a good one.
Tell
You'll
me.
love this. So this is called the spotlight effect. You know about this.
Yes, Ali Abdaal talked about this.
So the spotlight effect is where people tend to overestimate how much others notice them. And since discovering this, it has changed my perspective on creating. So in our minds, like, when we create something, we think that, oh man, everybody notices it, right? Or like the thing that we're scared to share about is the thing that everybody's going to see. And in reality, nobody sees it.
And they just don't care.
And they just don't care.
And not out of a sense of meanness.
Right.
They just don't know.
Our fears are not what other people see.
No.
And so it's like this bias that can lead to I'm just going to read like what the definition says. It's a bias that can lead to a heightened sense of self-awareness and social anxiety is the spotlight effect.
So would it be fair? Could we make a brief explainer here?
Mm-hmm.
Would it be fair to say that the spotlight effect is the description of if self-awareness were a continuum,
Mm-hmm.
that there are some people we know who lack any self-awareness
Mm-hmm.
and they're just cotton-headed ninny muggins over here just doing their own thing, annoying the crap out of everybody. But is it perhaps that the spotlight effect maybe is on the other end of that spectrum and it's the over-focus on self-awareness of like maybe everyone's staring at me, that type of thing?
Yes. Like, there's two sides of it. Number one, like, don't, because I think we got a lot of people that love to create that may listen to this. Mm-hmm. And some people like listen weekly. That's awesome. So like, if you're one of those people that listen weekly and you're someone that wants to create things, listen, don't overestimate how much people will like think you're self-righteous or centered because you want to create things. That is not what it is at all. I think of my favorite creators when you asked me that question. Not once was I thinking, man, that person's so self-centered because they share their life.
Yeah.
More of the opposite, actually.
Yeah.
Because I know even the days that they may not feel like sharing,
Yep.
they are still upholding what they feel like is their need to share because people are involved in it.
When I work with clients and they share that fear with me, like, oh, I don't want to create, or I don't want to put this out there because I don't want people to think that I'm trying to be self-centered or a showboat. And I'm like, whoa, hold up a second. Social media is simply the volume knob on who you already are.
That's good.
So if you're egotistical, yeah, everyone's going to know you're egotistical because you'll tell stories about you. If you're a humble person, though, that's interested in others, guess what? When you tell stories or when you share things, other people will be the heroes of those stories. You won't be.
Yeah.
And so it's just turning up the volume on who you already are.
Yeah. I love that.
Are we ready to get into today's segment?
Born ready.
Listen, so we came up with this idea. I've only gotten more excited about it the more I've thought about
Yeah.
it. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to do did you say it's GQ?
GQ.
So GQ, actually you set it up. It was your idea.
So GQ has this segment on YouTube where they pull some celebrities, famous people, athletes, creators, and they do 10 things I can't live without. So 10 things that person can't live without. I love these segments, as you do. And it's not always like we watch the same type of content. It's hardly ever, I would say. Not ever, but I'd say 25% of the time.
It's an overlap.
Yeah, there's an overlap, but this was an overlap.
Yeah.
And I love seeing what fascinating humans can't live without, basically.
So true, man.
And so we thought kind of two perspectives to this with Christmas approaching, because this will be released on I want to say like the 15th of December,
16th.
the 16th
14th
of
of
December.
Saturday.
This will be right before Christmas. So if you are like, I would say a lady listening to this and you need a last second Christmas gift for your man, or maybe like there's some ladies that kind of are similar to us and you need a gift for them, these may be good gifts. Or maybe like people who share the same interests in us, these may be good gifts. If
You know what this?
Yeah, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, you know what this reminds me of? So in Ted Lasso season 2, Keely is starting to do some branding work for
Yeah.
the team, and Ted's like, "Hey, Keely, did you ever hear back from those folks at Tom Ford about the marketing campaign?" And she said, "Yes," and they said no. But if they ever do an Everyday Man's campaign, they'll call you first. And I was like, "We're the Everyday Man."
Yeah.
Then we're the Everyday Man.
Yeah. And so, or maybe you're just listening and you're like, "Oh, I may find that interesting."
Yeah.
Go ahead and buy it. Do it for yourself for Christmas. Buy it
Treat
for yourself.
yourself.
But yeah, if you find anything interesting about some of the things that we can't live without, basically, I think we're going to share about 5 or so things each
Yep.
that we can't live without and that we everyday carry, everyday use, some of the things that are useful to us.
I like it.
Yeah,
Shall we get started?
I would love to.
May we begin?
Yes.
Would you like to go first?
Yeah, or you go first because I meant to find the exact name. I don't care. Actually, it's whatever. I'll go first.
You go first.
First one, I was going to find the exact name of this, and I completely forgot. And you actually may know because this is something we both share. So this is my Nomadic Peter McKinnon. So it's Nomadic.
Nomadic.
Nomatic. See on there, did they change that?
Nope.
Because I'm pretty sure maybe I just changed it. I think I second guessed myself in my notes and put a D and then a T and then went
No,
back.
it's just a T.
Yeah, I think I went back and forth 3 times. So this is the Peter McKinnon Nomadic backpack. I carry this every single day of my life. It's directed towards camera people, but here's what I will say.
Yeah.
If you're not a camera person, this is the best backpack I've ever owned.
Would totally agree. I have the exact same one. I think is it 10 liters? I think
so.
You'll see 2 different options on the website. This is the everyday version. There is a travel one. Would you mind to push the flap in where the water bottle goes on the side?
Yep, because that didn't probably
Yeah.
look the best.
What
So that's
you'll-
what it looks
No,
like.
but what you'll notice is there's a lot of thoughtful design. Magnets keep those in.
Yep.
So if you're going through the airport or the subway, you're not just kind of thrown out there. Walk them through the little sleeve.
So this is probably my favorite thing, actually. This is where my laptop goes. A complete separate compartment. I love that. And if you're listening on Spotify, you're probably going to want to go over to YouTube. But I put my laptop in there nice and warm. So if it's cold outside, it keeps it warm. That's its own zipper. And then this zipper right here. Now this is where the money is. The magic is. Oh,
And also the hard drive.
so don't open it sitting straight up. But this is what the inside looks like. Man, I mean, come on.
So, okay, a beautiful thing. Up at the top, you've got what they call affectionately the garage.
Yep.
That's also magnet enclosed. Opens up for access.
Look at that.
And then you have the camera inserts there, which you can get in different configurations.
And you could take it out.
Yep.
Dude, I mean, And I've had this backpack for a long time. I feel like I've carried it every day for 2.5 years, I believe.
Yep.
And it feels like if I gave someone this backpack, it would look brand new. Like that's how good the quality is. Super good water resistant. Perfect size. I take it like we're going to New York in a couple days. That's what I'll take for like just carrying.
Yep.
Like even if I don't take the camera insert.
And how tall are you? This is not a joke.
What are we trying to do
This is not
here?
a joke.
This
How
is
tall are you?
crazy.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'7".
I'm
It's a solid 5'7".
5'7". I'm 6'4". The backpack does look a little small on me, but I can tell you it's very comfortable.
And it looks huge on me.
Yeah, but my point in saying that was we both had the same backpack.
Yeah.
It's very comfortable, both sizes.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
didn't
Yeah, we
realize
should
that
put the
sounded like a
backpack
joke until it wasn't.
on both of us and just
That should
like
be the thumbnail of the
it looks
video.
like a purse bag on you, and then it's like this duffel bag on me.
Well, okay,
That's my first one though.
I love it. Mine would be and listen, I'm not like a gearhead when it comes to phones. Like I don't upgrade every year, but the iPhone 16 Pro has been my favorite. And this little side shutter camera button has been super useful for me. I'm left-handed.
Okay.
Phone's always in the left front pocket.
Okay.
When I pull it out and need to take a picture, my fingers automatically here every time. And so just that click, that long press and ready to go has been useful. The iPhone 16 Pro is also really nice because there's the little digital
I
bar up
like
here at the
that
top.
a lot.
Here's the thing. I'm always finding new uses for it.
Really.
When I'm driving and I've got my maps in
oh
there,
my
it's got
gosh.
the little directions.
One of the best integrations on an
It's-
iPhone ever.
I came from the 13 Pro. So jumping to having that little thing at the top, which I think has been in the other phones since this,
Maybe, but I haven't had it yet.
man,
So like if you're
love it.
driving and let's say you got 20 miles left to your turn, and let's say in 15 minutes you check it again, like that little black insert right there will say the number and then the turn. So like if you have 5 miles left, it'll say 5. So you can kind of like just a quick glance. Which, I mean, it's also on the main screen. But let's say you're using your phone while you're driving, as I do. So let's say I'm on, like, Instagram. It will say...
Hold on a second. You're on Instagram while
maybe
you're
just, like,
driving?
here and there. So
That's
then,
a- that-
so
that
then
is
in
that's
that
just a
black...
never. We're going to go back.
But let's just say you are. I'm not saying
You are not.
Hypothetically.
You
Yeah.
are not. But if Key's driving,
Let's
you're-
say I'm on my text
Let's say
messages.
that Key is driving, you're perusing Instagram.
yeah,
there we
yeah,
go.
yeah.
That's it. That's what you meant to
So
say.
it would say on that little, that black screen.
yeah.
That's a good one.
And it's the animations on it, you know, when it kind of goes out to include the lock thing. It's just so thoughtful, and I love coming from the 13 to the 16. It's very thoughtful. It's very user friendly. I love how fast it is. And here's my thing on gear, man. And I've shared this with you before. I don't buy new gear a lot, but when I do, it's because the thing I have isn't working anymore. And so I just love when stuff stays out of my way.
Yeah.
And lets me do what I need to do. And that's what the iPhone 16 Pro does. And I would buy it again tomorrow if I had to.
Well, I wouldn't even call it gear. I would just call it like an essential
Essential item.
item, and it's just whether or not you should upgrade.
Do you have another essential item on yours for the EDC conversation we're having? What's your number 2?
Essential item? No, probably not essential. I will go with this since we're talking about the iPhone, though. My number 2 can't live without, and these aren't really in order. They're all just as equally as important in my life. This is an iPhone wallet. Now, here's what I will say. This iPhone wallet is not my favorite.
Is that the Weave one?
I don't know.
Did you buy it recently within the last year?
Yeah.
It's the Weave.
But this is like Apple's version of a wallet that goes onto your phone. I used to have like the entire huge bulky iPhone wallet on my other
Which you were
models.
very hesitant about giving up. I remember this.
and I hate that I had to give it up. I had to give it up because of your favorite feature, that iPhone button. So I'm
good
very
stuff,
upset. No, I'm very upset because I would love that wallet instead of that iPhone button. Because Here's the issue. So this is my essential. Like I have to have this because I don't like carrying a wallet. I never have.
Yeah.
This, I have 2 of my debit cards and then my license. What I would like, you can only have 3 cards in this thing. So it is great having like what I need in my mind. So on the back of my iPhone. Now here's what I will say. This is my wallet that if I like carried all my cards, here's what I would like have to carry. This is something I can live without. This is the worst invention I've ever seen in the history of mankind.
Oh, I love hot
so
takes.
this wallet, I mean, it is the most horrendous thing I've ever seen. I ordered it on Amazon. My cards hardly even come out of this thing. They hardly go into this thing. Money, how are you supposed to clip? I mean, that is the tightest clip I've ever seen. Like, this is the worst invention I've ever seen. So this is something that does not leave my backpack hardly ever. And
It's break glass in case of emergency.
I won't even say the brand because it doesn't matter what the brand is. I honestly hate these things.
Now, I will say, I have seen people have good experiences with a similar designed wallet. I think it's called the Ridge wallet. I do not condone it.
Yeah, I don't
Because I'm
either.
also in the Apple Wallet campaign. I keep my license. I keep my business Amex in there, silver.
Yeah.
And then I keep our platinum. And then I keep a Visa in there. Because you never
Yeah.
know. Sometimes you get
But this
places
is
that won't
yeah.
take Amex.
Now, like if you're a person who's always struggling, where's my wallet? Like, you get one of these.
Oh, man. That's so. Yes, absolutely.
These things are awesome, and it has Find My Wallet.
Yeah.
So I guess if you lose this, like the Apple version, you can look up where it is.
And I actually got the orange wallet
Mm-hmm.
because everything in my life is gray, black. And so the orange really
That's
stands
smart.
out.
Yeah. So I cannot, in my mind, live without that. I mean, it is a game changer.
The next thing on my list is the Hario Switch, which is my coffee brewer of choice every morning at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I will can I do a 2-in-1 here?
Yes.
The Hario Switch. So it's a pour over, and it essentially allows you. It has a little ball bearing in the bottom that treats it almost as if it's a French press. So you have that ball bearing in the bottom. The coffee won't come out. It kind of sits there and marinates very much like a French press does. And then you flip the switch, as the name kind of in communicates that it would, and it all pours out the bottom like a regular pour over. And I love that into my kind of 2-in-1 into my Ember mug, which I talked about a couple episodes ago. And it is just so consistent. I love the flavor. It's super easy. And so if someone is looking to kind of do that little upgrade
Yeah.
this holiday season for a friend, a loved one, a sibling, that is such an easy one. I think you can grab the Hario Switch for $40. You can get other pour overs for far less. But it's just one of those items that's like, listen, all you need is that, some ground coffee, a filter, and you've
Yep.
got coffee anywhere.
I love it. What was your second?
The Ember mug.
Oh,
the,
yeah,
the
yeah,
mug with
yeah,
the little heater in the bottom. I've been using that at home in the mornings, man.
Legit.
It's so good.
Yeah. Well, my number 3, I'll go ahead and say it. A coffee subscription.
I'm going to back you up on this one.
Yes, I cannot live without it. So whenever I was a young buck, so I've been drinking coffee 365 days for 10 plus years now.
Because if we are
Black.
nothing, we are consistent.
Yes, black coffee. If you got it, drink it. Now, here's what I will say. I started off as a teenager drinking like whatever was accessible. And I told myself, the moment I start making some coffee is the moment I start drinking some really good coffee. And so I have a 2-week subscription to Trade Coffee. They send me a bag of coffee, a different bag from, so like this one, for example, is, I don't know where this is from.
Wonder State.
Yeah. I don't know where is it from though?
Oh, Columbia.
No, like what coffee shop. Regardless.
Is it not from Wonder State?
Yeah, but I don't know like where that is.
Oh, you're looking for like the state?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Like the location.
It's like-
So this is from a coffee shop somewhere in the United States is what I'm getting at.
I got you.
And they've roasted this coffee, and every 2 weeks I get a new bag of this coffee. Not like this one, but I get a new bag of coffee from a roastery somewhere in the United States. And there's like a form I had to fill out before the fact that where's it at? What did it say?
I'm doing a little research here.
Let's give them a little shout out.
It is wonderstate.com. And I'm looking here on the About Me. Hold on. So you keep talking.
Probably
I'm
would be
looking for it.
useful to have where your coffee shop is located, but that's okay. But they have a form you fill out on Trade Coffee. Hey, what kind of coffee you like? Hey, what kind of tasting coffee? Hey, you like whole bean? You like ground coffee? So I get a new bag of coffee every 2 weeks, and as you could imagine, it adds up. Because on top of the bag I get every 2 weeks, listen, we're all still hammering coffee from the local coffee shop.
That we are. That's where this was
Almost. I'm not going to say daily
Oh,
because
no,
that would sound irresponsible. But hey,
2 or 3
some
times a week
weeks,
now.
yeah, some weeks maybe 5 times.
I was going multiple times a day
Yeah.
before we got this place. Now it's like maybe 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah. So if you're a coffee connoisseur, if you're a coffee snob, maybe look into Trade Coffee where you can get a different bag. It just becomes one of those things you offload, and you should get new coffee every 2 weeks.
Yeah, I love
Or
it.
every 3. You can set it up however you want.
Right. I love it because they do have like an office subscription. So if you're like in a big office, you can buy coffee by the pounds there.
Yeah.
But it's great because it offloads that thinking. So I think I've had my subscription since 2021, maybe.
Yep.
Just never think about buying coffee. It
Yep.
just shows up.
And if you get behind, so sometimes I'll get behind, like if I'm traveling
Yeah.
a lot and I'm just not drinking a lot of coffee at home, you can skip a few deliveries. So I skipped like 2 months worth and then got caught back up. And then when it was time, like I kind of set it up where I would be ready when I knew I would be ready, to be ready. So then right back on track.
I love it, man. All right. The next item for me, number 3, is AirPods. And the reason I say this is because I use them constantly. Client calls, listening to music, content, here at the desk. It is one of those things that I have bought same day when they've messed up and had them shipped to my house overnight. It's just one of those things that's like, I do not leave my house without them.
It's a part of you.
It is.
I would say AirPods got my honorable mention.
Okay.
I'm coming around. I think like the thing with AirPods and me is like we live in a small town where like AirPods aren't always needed, so I'm not like fully bought in on them yet. If I lived in a city, oh my gosh, like it would be an everyday thing. But like we could sit at our coffee shop and just like listen to our phone. Like that's how casual this town is. Like
Yeah,
there's
for
not
sure.
a lot of volume necessarily. But yeah, AirPods, especially the new ones, I'm pretty bought in. Like for them to get my honorable mention, if you're on the fence, it's something worth looking into.
Yep. What's your 5th item?
Is it 5th already?
It is 5th already.
It's 4th for me.
Okay.
Yeah, because I got 2 more. My 4th item, field notes.
So good, man.
Field notes, notebook. So here's what I will say. I have a cousin-in-law. He's one of your best friends,
Taylor.
Mr. Taylor. So Taylor came through, and I posted a field notes notebook on my story, on my Instagram story a few years ago. And he said, "Hey, I know the marketing guy at Field Notes. What's your address? And I'll get Field Notes sent to you." And I said, "Dude, you just made my year." And so he this is half of what was sent to me. Like I think I gave you a pack
You
of them.
did, indeed.
Like I got Field Notes for the next 5 years, basically,
100%.
probably 10 years. But Field Notes are like my everyday useful thing. So I actually am very old school. I write down all my accounting in a Field Notes book. And it's like, I've done that for 5 years now. Like any dollar I make or spend is written down in a Field Notes, which is really weird because I'm not that type of person. But like for some reason with accounting stuff, I am. But also Field Notes are great. Like if you're a person who likes to visualize your goals and like have them in front of you, like on paper, there's just something like when you're writing in the Notes app compared to like a Field Notes, man, it just feels better. Like for some reason,
All right, man.
I don't know, like seeing your goals on like a piece of paper or seeing like, I don't know, like your daily to-do list on a piece of paper. There's something to it.
I have a theory behind this.
Yeah.
My theory is that, so I have obviously my iPad, my Apple Pencil, which I love, keep them with me all the time. My theory is that somewhere from 1990 to 1994, there was a transition that when all of those people grew up, there was a flip back to the old school way of doing things because paper and pencil had become vintage and thus cool again. And so, like, some of my friends and I were all in on the digital. I'm just using Apple Notes with an Apple Pencil, a paper-like, screen protector so it feels like I'm writing on paper. Couldn't live without it because I keep all my notes in one place. But then, like, you have paper and pencil, like, analog, and it's super cool. But when I go to write in paper and pencil, I lose the notebook. I lose the pen.
Really?
I lose the pencil. I want to be you so bad, and I just can't pull it off.
Well, I think the reason I've always gravitated towards field notes is because I've always been one to rearrange setups. So, like, when I was growing up, my room wouldn't stay how it was for more than like a month or two. And what would happen is every, let's say, quarter of a year, I would rearrange my room. And when I rearranged my room, I would find a notebook that had been kind of hidden for 6 months, let's say. And then when you get that glimpse into like the past on paper, oh, like that's what my handwriting looked like. Oh, this is like how I was thinking. This was how I was writing. This is what I was interested in. Like I did this recently. I cleaned out our basement and I found old letters that I wrote or old notebooks that I had wrote in when I was like a teenager. Like that's just like, that's cool to me.
That
and
is
like,
cool.
and it was stuff that I had written every day for a year in one notebook, like, but yeah, it's just been, I don't know. It's just been a part of my life for the last pretty much 10 years since I was about 16. I've wrote in a little notebook, field notes book. I've loved it.
That's awesome.
And I would say like if you're one to write in a notebook, field notes is the way to go.
Without a doubt. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
My last item, and it's because I get asked about these pants sometimes. My sister has asked me. In fact, my dental hygienist asked me one time what kind of pants that I wear because
I've asked you.
Yep. I am a big fan of like athletic leisure pants and like the more trim cuts because you can wear them with like a dressed up blazer and it looks good. Been through many iterations. 3 iterations. I've been through the Cuts clothing, which were great. They wore out rather fast for my taste, but they were good pants. But I will say I've landed on 2 that I like. I have a pair of Lululemon ABC pants that are black, and I have a pair of Twillery of their like performance pants or whatever. I wear them every single day. I wear jeans maybe 4 times a year now. And it's simply because they're super comfortable, but they can also be dressed up or down depending on the situation. Yeah. And they're stretchy and like they just fit like pants are supposed to.
Yeah.
So I only say that because they are a mid-priced item. So if you buy a pair, you're going to spend anywhere from $100 to $130.
Yeah.
But they are like super, super good quality. And they don't, and this, I'm going to say this, I don't like this word. They don't look slouchy. They look tailored.
Yeah.
They make your butt look good.
Okay.
Just, I feel like it has to be said because
it.
there might be wives out there that are like, I'm kind of wondering, but I don't want my husband's butt to look like he's wearing sweatpants.
There you go. What was the second brand?
Twillery.
Never heard of it.
Very much enjoy it. They have a performance blazer that I wear. It's stretchy in the shoulders, and yeah.
You know what I was thinking about the other day?
Yep.
So I was thinking, people in the city, now here's where they get the advantage. So obviously there's inflation due to where you live. People
Cost of living differences.
Cost of living differences, yes. People in the city, though, they kind of get a discount if you really think about it.
I'm interested to hear how you're going to explain this thought.
So my thought process on a pair of jeans, for example, from Old Navy,
okay.
the price might look one way to me.
Okay.
But the price to someone living in New York City may look completely different because of their cost of living is already like so astronomical that when they look at a pair of $35 jeans or $45 jeans, they're thinking one thing, and then someone from Kentucky is thinking a whole different thing.
I did not expect our discussion to go
You
here.
ever think about that?
Pricing relativity is a curious thing. So let's go back to our Lululemon ABC pants, right? So very popular pant among men. $119, I think, on their website. Yes. So if you are living in West Palm and real estate is as high as it is, your local Publix is the cheapest grocery you have access to. Your regular dining options are not what they are here in Central Kentucky. Yeah, that's going to seem like a different price versus when I tell someone like my friend who asked me about
Yeah.
my pants, I spent $120 on this pair of pants.
Yeah.
I think they thought I was insane.
Right.
And so, yeah, it is interesting.
And I wonder how like stores or brands base their price knowing that like one customer is saying, man, that's dirt cheap. And one customer is saying,
Well, I think
I
it's,
can't afford that at all.
I think it's a really good point for saying, why do we not have a Lululemon anywhere near us?
Yeah.
Why do we not have an Apple store within an hour? We
Yeah.
don't, because they exist within
Right.
demographics of locations.
Found that very interesting though. As
did not expect
and I
us to go down
honestly
this road.
may have thought about that this morning without even like knowing that was going to pop up. I
Okay.
can't remember when I thought about it, but my fifth and final, and this is actually an app that I use pretty much every single day. It is the Lightroom app. If you're unfamiliar, it's Adobe's version of photo editing. So Adobe Lightroom, absolutely love it. So number one, Lightroom for me is like my creative spark that I get daily. So any photo I ever post like on my Instagram stories or to Facebook or whatever has been touched up in Lightroom. Like it's just like it's my little
As Emerald Lagasse would have said back in the early 2000s, bam.
bam, that's my little what word am I looking for? My little
Pizzazz.
pizzazz,
Spark.
my little spark on a photo. Like I love just like, hey, let me make it mine. So the Lightroom app, and then also I think they just integrated this recently. I could be wrong because I just got a new iPhone and I actually have the capability and the iPhone storage now. If you've been a listener, you know that. But I can edit my videos in here too. I don't know how long that's been a thing.
Yes.
So it's been a thing for a while because I've only used Lightroom really on my phone. Like that's when I primarily use it. So I'll throw my videos into, I think I was holding it. So I'll throw my videos into Lightroom, touch them up, export them, and then just gives it a little bit of my
A little
ta-
razzle dazzle.
a little bit of my taste onto it. So that is probably, those are my 5 top things that I can't live without.
I love it, man. I do have a bonus item.
Okay.
I love to take walks in the forest. So we have some trails around here at Knob Creek Conservancy. I recently, after years of debating whether or not to buy it, bought a 511. They're like tactical, like plate carrier vest. It's just a weighted vest carrier. 10-pound plate in the front and in the back, but it is super comfortable. Got a slot for your phone, the whole deal. And it's just made like when I go for walks.
Yeah.
Just gets a little bit of, it sneaks a little exercise in.
Yeah.
So just a little bonus.
Well, I haven't
item.
seen you work with it, wearing it one day in here. 'Cause that would be just wear it 8 hours.
Trying to call me out, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, if you can't live without it, let's see you wear it all next week.
I see how you are. All right. So that's going to be it for our episode of 10 Things We Can't Live Without, or 5 Things We Can't Live Without, Holiday Edition. Check out those things just Google them. We're not putting links in the comments.
We could, I guess.
Yeah,
let's do that.
We're putting links in the comments.
First time ever.
Call it our Christmas gift to you.
Yeah. Go get it.
Yeah, but it is fun, and I think things like this are just, anytime that we can help people generate ideas. I don't think people lack a sense of generosity. I just think sometimes it takes brain power to come up with good ideas, and these are things that just work for us.
Well, and maybe you're just a little interested in what we carry and what we have in our arsenal of daily use.
Absolutely. I know I love seeing those videos.
I do too.
All right, guys, until next time, we'll see you on episode 21.
Peace.